Bonjour, today we are going to learn about la routine quotidienne, daily routine, part 1, les verbes réfléchis, reflexive verbs. So, first of all, what are reflexive verbs? Laver means to wash, and here we are going to look at two different examples. Laver le chien, which means to wash the dog. Se laver, which means to wash oneself. So if you have not guessed already, reflexive verbs are verbs where actions are performed upon yourself. So on the right hand side, se laver means to wash yourself. The action, you're doing the action onto yourself. And on the left hand side, laver, which is your regular verbs, is just the action is performed on something or someone else, like laver le chien, to wash the dog. Okay, so we just look at what are reflexive verbs. Now let's see how to recognize one of them. Okay, so below are some examples of reflexive verbs. Se laver, se doucher, se maquiller, se raser. Se laver means to wash yourself, se doucher to take a shower, se maquiller to put on makeup, se raser to shave. So if you can look at all the 4 different verbs, you'll notice they all have one thing in common. The infinitive, the to form of the reflexive verb, include se in front of the verb. Okay, so raser le chien, which is your regular verb, to shave the dog, and se raser, because you have se in front of the infinitive of the verb, means to shave yourself. Okay, let's do a quick recap. Number 1, we define what are reflexive verbs. Number 2, we learn how to identify them. And finally, number 3, we are going to learn how to conjugate reflexive verbs. So, if you forgot, conjugate means to change the verb according to the subject. For reflexive verbs, the verb is conjugated normally, but we are also adding some reflexive pronouns. The reflexive pronouns are me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but I promise you it's actually fairly easy. First, what we're going to do is we are going to conjugate the regular verb laver. Je lave, tu laves, il, elle, on lave, nous lavons, vous lavez, il, elle, lave. And of course, those verbs follows the regular ER endings, E, ES, E, ONS, easy, ENT. Now, for reflexive verbs, remember we have to add the reflexive pronouns as well. So you're gonna add me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce, according to the corresponding subject. So to say they wash themselves, you will say il, elle se lave. If you want to say I wash myself, it would be je me lave. So the reflexive pronouns me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce actually means in English myself, yourself, himself, herself, ourselves, yourselves in plural, and themselves. All right? You actually already know one very popular reflexive verb. It's the verb s'appeler. Je m'appelle, tu t'appelles, il s'appelle. It means my name is, your name is, his name is, but if you translate literally in French, it means I call myself, you call yourself, he calls himself. Okay, now students, let's do a quick check for understanding. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look at the 8 sentences below, and you are going to decide which one is a reflexive verb and which one is not. Okay, so here are the answers. Did you have those right?